everyone, welcome back to the layout. The Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO Scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for a special product review of the brand new Athearn AC4400 locomotives. And I picked up two for patches, two patched locomotives, and Southern Pacific patched, which you can see right here, and then I also got a C&NW that's not patched, but I am going to patch it, and it will be basically one of the two patched locomotives on the layout. So I actually have been in Florida this past week, so didn't get much done on the layout, but I did get a chance to stop at Lombard Hobbies on the way home and pick up some items. I got another throttle that's going to be used in the yard, and then I also got another maintenance of way flat car. Only 20 bucks, 21 bucks I guess you could say. But the main thing was I picked up these two AC4400s. The Union Pacific SP patched locomotive with a yellow sill. And then also the Chicago and Northwestern 8816, but this will be patched to UP 6718. Now the 6289, which I picked up here, here's a prototype photo. This is the latest one that I could see with still being patched. This was taken in 2014. And then this is another picture taken in 2017. So somewhere between 2014 and 2017, it was repainted. I think I saw somewhere it took place in 2016. But the patch locomotive, I think, will fit what I'm looking at, which is right around 2015, 2016. So definitely glad to have this patched locomotive. And it had, of course, the standard Athearn Genesis box that it came with. Now, you notice I didn't have any unboxing as far as a mailing box, because I did stop by Lombard Hobbies, had a chance to talk to Alex and Jeff, and just picked up an order that I had been waiting for these for quite a while. I think I pre-ordered them probably over a year ago. But in the box, you do get the standard parts diagram with a long list of parts if you ever need to have something replaced. And then your standard sign up for newsletters, propaganda, I guess you could say, and then the owner's guide or user's guide with all the function information, CV information, and so on. I don't really refer to this too much. I mainly use JMRI to do all my programming. I get to that a little bit more on this video on how things are programmed, but this is a pretty standard feature of HO scale locomotives these days, both scale trains and Athearn, and a number of others also, but those are the two that come mainly like this with the plastic enclosure. Now this one was really tight. I had to, first of all, I thought maybe it was taped. It usually isn't, but it was quite tight, but was able to get it off. And they have this piece of styrofoam. It's two pieces. There's a change. And you kind of lift this tab up, lift up the top, carefully, without touching any detail, remove the locomotive. Here you get your first look. The painting on here is kind of unique. Does not have any gloss at all, so it's somehow some type of paint finish that looks very flat. So there's no plasticky glossness to it. So I really like that. This is their prime for grime type, but even most of their prime for grime still is kind of plasticky looking. This is not. This finish that they have on here is a little different. I don't know if it's because it's gray, but it definitely has a much more flat finish to it. It looks really nice. Of course, I will still have to weather this as well as all of the other locomotives I have. Alright, so it is completely removed from the packaging, and get a chance to take a first glance at the locomotive. I really like this one. They had another patch one with the white sail, but since mine is more modern, I think the yellow sails came in 2011 is when they started, I believe, and then they had to all be done by 2015. This one supposedly has the flaming patch in the back. Didn't look that different. When I get my locomotives, one of the first things I do before even putting it on the layout is take it to my programming track. So this is a programming track I use. I got this from Lombard Hobbies too, by the way. You might want to check it out. It's a very nice little track, very easy to use. I have it wired to my command station, as you can see. And then I go to JMRI. And here's a list of all my locomotives. Yes, I do have way too many. But when I have a new one, click on New Locomotive, and then you can read type from decoder. So it right now is reading information from the decoder to figure out what type it is. And it comes out to be the TSU, GN, whatsoever. Now, they didn't have the AC4400 listed, but it does work with a -9 version. The AC4400 is very new, so JMR doesn't have it listed yet, at least not on this particular one. I haven't updated my JMRI lately, but as you can see, there's all kinds of things that you can program using JMRI. And again, I have all my locomotives there. So one of the first things I do when I set it on the programming track is I have my JMRI program read all the decoder values. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to unpackage the C&NW. Now here's a picture of the C&NW. This was in 2017. So this is even newer. This is you can see it's 8816 on the green, but then it's patched to 6718, and here you can see it's repainted. This is in 2019. So sometime between 2017 and 2019 it was repainted. So a patched version of this would be good up to at least 2017. So both of these I think are going to fit really well onto my era, which is around 2015 to 2017 or so. So this will fit in real well. Now one problem is a big boy, which I don't think hit the rails until 2019. So by the time the big boy came on board, I think these were repainted. So I won't be able to run these together with the big boy, but I might just fudge it a little bit because I've always wanted a big boy, and someday I'm going to be getting it. I'm saving up all the money that I'm getting from members. So thank you to all the members who are supporting my channel and supporting the layout. It will bear fruit with a big boy here, hopefully within a few months. Alright, this is a C&NW 8816, which I'm going to patch to the 6718. So it's 8816 in C&NW. I'm going to patch it to the 6718. One thing I do always try to make sure I get everything, all the packaging put back together, and then I keep that on hand, so if I ever need to store this or transport it or sell it, I have the packaging to go with it. As you can see me carefully removing the little protective plastic pieces for the handrails. Try not to mess anything up. Go ahead and close this back up again. Keeping all the parts. One thing I make sure I do is stick these plastic things in there before I close it up all the way, so I don't lose them. And I always also put the couplers in there eventually as well, if I think of it. I always put the KD couplers on these, and so I'll take the originals and put them in this packaging also, so I have them in case I sell it and somebody wants to have the original couplers. Alright, and here it's on the programming track, taking its turn to be programmed. To read all this programming information, I usually go to the CV page that lists all the CVs for the locomotive, and then I just read the full sheet. And you can see there at the very bottom, it's reading all the different CV numbers. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. If you have a scale trains, it takes longer. Scale trains are very slow. Alright, let's take a look at this 6289 Southern Pacific patch. The detail on these locomotives is outstanding. These are Genesis G2, Generation 2. The paint finish is, I think, is the thing that I like the most. It really is nice and opaque, and is flat, so it doesn't really look plastic at all. But a lot of fine details. You can see the chain there. That is individual links. Looks very, very good. And here you can see the grill detail. And then some roof detail. Really nice printing. This does have the PTC antenna. I ordered one of these antennas from Athearn, actually off of eBay. So, well, hopefully for the C&NW, I'm going to put a PTC antenna on that, and it will hopefully match the one on here. The pink looks like the Breast Cancer Awareness Week or Month pink ribbon, the pink ribbon. So it's a very light pink. It's mainly the faded red. But then you can also see the UP shield there on the nose. This one has high number boards. The Generation 2 also has the wheel bearings move. They actually turn in the axle, so that's a cool feature. And here you can see the flaming patch on the back with the UP number. And the yellow sills all the way around. Right now it has the original couplers, and I have removed those and replaced them with KDs already. But overall, it's very nicely detailed. Here you can see the other side, and a cool, really nice finish on these. This is an unusual patch in that it says UP and then 6289. This will definitely need to be weathered quite a bit, because by 2016 these were looking pretty ragged. The grills look really nice. They kind of have them painted black. That always looks good. And then you can again see the flaming patch on the back. You can see into the interior also. It's kind of tinted, so it's not real easy to see. But there is a full cab interior and nice handrails and lift rings, all those very fine details. This is probably going to be one of my favorite locomotives. I've always liked the patched versions. In fact, I was a Southern Pacific fan way before I was a Union Pacific fan. I was a Southern Pacific fan when we lived in Texas. And then when UP bought them out, I just kind of became a UP fan. Here you can see the headlights and the ditch lights working. And then you can't really see too well, but the number boards are lit, as well as lighting for the ground under the or above the trucks, and lighting on the ground. There's also a light for the walkways. Here I turned off the lights and you can see the number boards lit up, and then the light by the trucks. I'm going to try and do some nighttime running eventually, so I want to eventually get all the locomotives with lights on the walkways and on the trucks, and as well as the number boards. Now you can hear the sound. The locomotive is started up. We'll see if we can't get it moving here. It's very, very smooth. This is on speed step 1. So it's barely moving. And you can see the roller bearings moving on the trucks. All 3 of them on the back truck, and then the middle one on the front truck. And then if you crank it up, it takes off very smoothly. This is not how it sounds straight out of the box. I changed a lot of the configuration variables already, and some of the sound. I usually turn the sound down quite a bit. After I did this rumble, I think I've also turned down the horn a little bit more. Still a little too loud. You can hear the bell. But it is a very smooth, very, very smooth running locomotive. And the headlights and the ditch lights look white in the video here, and I should tell you that it is more of a yellowish look in person. Here at this view, it does look a little more yellow, but it's definitely much more of a yellowish white rather than pure white. As we head back the other way. So very nice. Now here's the C&NW. Here you can see the number boards lit up a lot better on this one. Now they flash a lit. That's just the video frequency matching up with the frequency of the LED. They do not flash in person. Can't see much truck detail on these units because of the black color. Did have some cool printing on there. This is the Operation Lifesaver. By the time I'm done with this, that will be pretty much wiped out. as well as the 8816 will be all faded out. I'm going to put the UP patch on there and have this renumbered to 8718. You can get a good look at the roof detail. Let's try to get this in focus so I could read some of these decals. Couldn't really get it in focus with my video camera, but we'll see some pictures here pretty soon. You can read the decals, the writing, the very, very small writing. So, and the tread, there's a tread on the walkways, which looks real nice. Kind of hard to pick up on the video. Here's a photo of the decal, or the printing, I should say, on the truck. Get a good look at the wheel, the roller bearings. Now, this is not a very good picture, but you can definitely read the. This is on top of the unit. Read the information on the cabinet doors. Take this one around. Also, this one, they ran pretty much the same, which is very nice. So together with my scale trains, AC4400s, I now have 8 AC4400s. I have 6 of the scale trains that are all painted in UP. And then I have these 2 patched versions by Athearn. One C&NW and one SP patched for the Union Pacific. There you see it coming back the other way. A lot of cool writing. This does have a yellow sill, and I think it's reflective. It looks different color than the yellow painting on the C&NW. So I'm pretty sure it is the reflective. So I'm not going to worry about putting any reflective decals on here. Okay, so both these are highly detailed, very nice. I did replace the couplers with KD, and they do match height-wise almost exactly. I did check the wheel gauges also. They all came out perfect. Here's the weight of each. 1 pound, 5.5 ounces. That's 21.5 ounces for the C&NW. And then the Southern Pacific is 1 pound 5 3/10 ounce, so 21.3 ounces, a little bit less for some reason for the SP. As a comparison, here's the scale train AC4400 for scale trains, 1 pound 7.3 ounces, so 2 more ounces for the scale trains. Now, I also, before I put them on the layout, I speed profile them, and you have to have 3 detected sections. So we had that gap you saw, and then here's an insulated rail joiner. So there's 3 detected sections. You have a gap here, so you have, this is the ending section. UP locomotive isn't needed for anything. Here's the middle section, and then here with a gap there you have the beginning sections. So JMRI has a speed profiler, and so you use those 3 sections. So here's the first section, and I have these memorized. Here's the second section, and then here's the third section. All right, so once you have those inputted, then you go to the locomotive you're doing, 6289, And I do a profile starting at step 10 and end at 40, and I go by increments of 10. That means it does a test at 10, a test at 20, a test at 30, and a test at 40. So here it goes across the gap, and then it goes all the way across and the middle section and goes to the end section. I kind of skipped some of the middle because it was going so slow for the 10 step. Right now it stopped and it's coming back the other way. So the gap is right at that signal. So once it crosses the gap, it starts the timer right there. And then when it gets to the other end, it goes across the gap and stops the timer. And I've inputted also into the speed profiler the distance between the gaps. So it uses that information, how long it took it to go all, from one end to the other. Here it's doing 20, it's going faster. Doesn't take as long. All right, it stops here. And then it'll do 20 going backwards here also once it gets stopped. You have to turn the momentum off on these when you do this. All right, so now it's heading back the other way. All right, so it did 20 forward and 20 back. Now it'll do 30. Speed step 30. Okay, goes across the gap, starts the timer. Goes across the gap, stops the timer. And then it'll come back and do the same thing again. This is all automatic. It's a cool feature of JMRI. And what I do, you just start at a number that has worked for other locomotives. I use the V minimum, V maximum, and V mid. And I put the minimum at 0, the maximum at 255, and then I just adjust the mid. And if it's too fast, I lower the mid range, so it's like 0, 105, and 255. If it's too fast, as it measures 40 here, if it's too fast, then I take 105 down to 100, and I run this test again. And I just keep running the test until the results match what I want. All right, so here I'm going to take a look at the results, and we put it at miles per hour. All right, so the throttle, that's 7.9%, and I wanted to kind of match up. So 7.9% is 8 miles per hour, 15.9 is 16 miles per hour, 23% is 24 miles per hour, 31 is 31 miles per hour. So you look at the throttle and the forward speed, and you can match that up. I'm trying to match it up. You might want to pause that if you want to take a look at that a little bit more. But my goal is that 10% on the throttle is 10 miles per hour on the lap. 20% is 20 miles per hour, and so on. All right, so here we have the locomotives in service. Here it's helping out pulling a manifest train with a couple of other Athearns. This is a group of 3 Athearns. Definitely is a great looking locomotive. Goes through the signal. And we have a train coming in the other direction. Get a look at the C&NW locomotive pulling a ethanol tank train. Great additions to the lab. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Hope you have a great week, everyone. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment and become a member. All those great things. Take care, everyone.